All right, guys, we are back. We've got a special guest with us. You all have probably seen her on King of the Hammers coverage, Ultra 4 coverage. She is down here this weekend, going to be doing some announcing. Miss Pam Hall is with us. So tell us, how did you get, like, you're more known for not what we do, but rock sports.
Right.
This is not rock sports.
Correct. This is mud.
This is mud.
100% all mud. I mean, they have 3 different pits over there that they'll be running all at the same time. But how I got into this is I was up at PRI. I was having dinner with Brian Fulcher and that whole entire crew. And he sent me a message later on wanting to know, hey, you should talk to Tony about coming and working some of the Southern Bounty series. And so here I am.
Right. Tony, we were just talking about Tony. Tony's a good dude. He's been more than gracious with us. I don't get to go to as many of his events as I like to, because he's more, I don't know, there's a lot of Texas, and it's too daggone far for me. I like to stay close to home. But Tony's been really good, and I think, we talked a little bit last night. I think you said this is your first actual Southern Bounty.
Correct. Correct. So my first time I've ever even watched this happen in person was last year at Mid-America at Visions for 2022, and they did that Mud Nasty event. I actually was calling the races with Dustin Jones, and seeing this in person is totally different than seeing it on YouTube and that kind of stuff. But the amazing thing too about all this, I mean, being new to this, you guys are new to it. I love y'all's sport too. Like the rocks,
appreciate it.
That sport is a whole nother ball game in itself. My background's desert, so going desert to working Ultra 4 was different.
Yeah. And
then now here I am at a mud event.
Right.
Nobody likes the mud, but what's really cool though is they have like 5 different classes. So they have kids classes that have like small tires. So I don't know if y'all know. I was trying to do some research on this because being new to it.
Well, that's we were talking about. We have no idea. I mean, we have a general, but we have no idea what actually is
what it is.
What it is.
Right.
They do have limitations. I was talking to Tony about some stuff last night. I'm like, okay, so how does this work if this happens and this and that? So kind of going through rules and everything. But they go by tire size.
Yeah.
So, the kids are, they can only be up to 35.5-inch tire or smaller, and they have to be 13 years or younger for the kids class. That's the small tire class. But then they have an actual small tire class that's the same exact size, but there's not an age.
Right. Okay.
Right. Okay.
So that helps us out a little bit, because we were just under the impression, like, we knew that there were tire sizes, but I didn't even know that they had a youth class. So that's awesome to know, because we were talking earlier that the kids are the future for any type of series, and it's good to see the parents help get these kids involved, because like we said, that they are the future of the sport.
Exactly. And what's really cool too is some of the kids that race Ultra 4, this is their background, is the mud.
Yeah.
And they're out here racing, so it's cool to see them racing at Ultra 4, getting a whole different kind of driving style in, and then coming here, doing their normal mud. But the class that really amazes me though is the Unlimited class. Their tires they can't be any smaller than 60 inches.
Well,
so it's 60 inches and above.
While you were saying the small tire class was a 35.5 and down.
That's for the kids. Yep.
That's a big tire.
Yeah, it is.
That's a big tire. We run on 30s and 32s.
Right.
Of course, like I said, nothing is the same. Nothing translates really, but it's just amazing that that's their
minimum.
Yeah, exactly. Their
Yeah.
minimum. Right. I mean, a lot of people, look at your daily drivers. A lot of the trucks run 35s.
Yeah.
Right. They're running, that's their, 35 or smaller. The medium tire class, that one is a 36 to 45-inch tire, so they can't be below or above that size. So something I was talking to Tony about last night, he's like, if somebody disputes a tire size, we'll go and measure it. I'm like, that's awesome. Like, you actually, they don't do like a heavy tech, but they just have these easy requirements that, here it is. And then you got your big tire class, it's, 45 to 59.5 inches. And it's like, but like I said, that's 60 plus. Oh, go stand next to him. So Tony's son, he runs, his is what, 83 inches on his buggy?
It's massive.
So. It's bigger than I've normally seen on a side-by-side or a UTV. It's crazy.
So you come out on that machine, you come out of the transmission, out of the diff, into it's either a 4 or 6 inch portal. And then straight out of that, so your first axle is about 6 inches long. Then you come out of that portal into another probably 12-inch box. Like that thing's got 8 portals on it. That's just, we seen it down here in the spring, and I walked around it then, and I was like, what in the world?
Yeah.
And it's built well. In the spring, they didn't get to run it. I'm hoping he gets to run it today.
Yeah, I'd love to see that thing in action. We'll definitely get some footage of that, and if nothing else, we'll do a walk around, try to put that out on social media for everyone to see. But these machines are just crazy.
They're massive.
Right.
It's amazing. Like, just a little bit of details. I was over at Team Momentum's, looking at their stuff, and they're the first ones I've ever seen do this.
Right.
I mean, they're the ones that also have the kids that are running Ultra 4 as well. So it's like going over there and looking at the I don't know what you call them. You call them the rig or whatever they call them. It's just like it's amazing. It's amazing the time and effort put into keeping them. How do you keep them so clean?
That is a question that I had, and I was probably going to ask some of these racers
SC1, baby.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Maxima SC1.
That is the best. That'll make anything look brand new again.
That's right. But as far as questions go, that was one of my main questions, because to me, that is the part of the sport, of any sport, that I dread the most, is cleanup day. So, I mean, these guys hit the mud like it's nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they carry a good bit of it back home with them. So what is their regimen for cleaning, and how long does it take? And it's got to be
all of them
all
look
day.
brand new.
They do.
They look brand new.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how do they keep them looking so clean?
I don't know.
And they don't even look like they touched the mud. They look like show vehicles.
Yeah.
Well, I did see in the spring, we were set up over in the vendor area, and there was one come through, and they're like, yeah, that kid just went through the hole. I was like, it's spotless.
Right.
So I don't know if they're Cerakoting them things and then running them over to a pressure washer they got at their trailer or what.
Well, I saw some pressure washers over
Yeah.
here. There is a few products out there that I know some racers use to try to keep their stuff clean.
Right.
But I'm going to give an example. Rush, Kentucky, it gets muddy, right?
Yeah.
We all know that.
Yeah.
So, but at our Ultra 4 races, it always seems like it's always muddy when we go there. The Blylers, for some reason, their cars are always, you can still see them on the side. I'm like, how come you can't see these cars but you can see yours? I can't remember the product right now, but there was a product that they used that I had never heard of on their vehicle.
We need to make some phone calls.
Like, maybe these guys, maybe that's what they're using. I don't know.
Could be.
But yeah, okay, so let's go back to this. So they have 3 different races they're running at the same time out here. There's 3 different holes, and they're 3 different sizes.
Right.
And this whole entire sport, to me, is insane.
Right.
I mean, y'all have seen it. Obviously, you've been here, but I'm like, it's like drag racing in the mud and water.
Yeah.
Right.
So when I was a kid, we had Volkswagen rails, and my dad done this, but on a smaller scale. It was more of a mud skimming kind of deal. We were doing county fairs and stuff. We couldn't dig big holes like this, but we'd done that years ago, and I always enjoyed it as a kid, because they were what we run then. I say a kid, I was probably 7 or 8 years old, but we run, I think, like what would be the outlaw class.
Okay.
That it wasn't, you didn't have to have big tires. It was more like, I guess, it was mud drag racing.
Right. Yeah.
And so, like, I've got a few things of my dad's, and a couple things that I cherish the most. I've got 2 of his old trophies from like 1988.
That's
awesome.
awesome.
Yeah, doing the old mud runs. So this brings me back to when I was about that tall.
Right. Yeah, that's cool. It's cool to be able to feel that, and to be here. There's going to be so much going on, but you coming from an Ultra 4 background, desert, and then transferring into the Ultra 4 stuff and doing the announcing, there's going to be so much going on today. So what kind of game plan have you got to kind of control the chaos as far as being announcing for this event for today?
Well, I was talking to Tony about this last night. He's going to have a mic as well, so we're going to kind of bounce off each other.
Good deal.
And I was talking to him about, the lineup and everything, because, like I said, never done this before.
Right.
So their lineup, they run as their lineup goes. So whoever it says it's supposed to be next on that paper is going to be next.
Right.
So that's going to help out a lot. Game plan of, the day, it's going to wing it.
A good deal. That's what I heard. I was like, they're just going to throw
what
this
we
Pam
always
to the
do.
wolves.
We
You
just
know what?
wing it.
I'm going to be honest. The first time I ever did any announcing on a camera was at Crandon.
Oh, my goodness.
Lord.
Yes, exactly, right? So, like, I was already prepared for it, but I had never done it before in my life. So talk about being thrown to the wolves. I
Right.
mean, it's Crandon.
Yeah.
That would be wild.
But it was a blast. So, you know, and I like challenges. And today is going to be a challenge because there's going to be 3 races going on at the same time.
Right.
So, I don't know. I work well under pressure usually, so we'll see how this goes.
Yeah.
Well, I think it would not be doing it would be doing a in service to our show if I don't ask you this while you're here.
Okay.
Our last 2 episodes, we talked a lot about the U4 Mid-America, what's going on there. There's been some announcements, I guess, since then. You know, when we left off season 1, it was uncertain. What can you tell us about Ultra 4 King of the Hammers? Do you know exactly like is Dave getting it back? Is he taking control? Do you know, or is there anything you can tell us that maybe we don't know?
I honestly, what you guys have seen on the internet, and if you watched that one podcast that Dave was on last week, I mean, that's the information I have. I don't have any inside information. I obviously, you know, King of the Hammers and Ultra 4 were separate. Now,
Right.
I'm pretty sure he's got it back. I'm not 100%.
The announcement was, and for those of you who are listening, there was an announcement. We posted that Hammer King did take back control of U4 with support from Mid-America. What that means, we'll see.
We'll see, yeah. And, you know, honestly, okay, so I've worked for Mid-America the last 2 years. I did all their short course announcing. I did, you know, I obviously had a counterpartner with me, and then I work with Miles for all the Ultra 4 USA stuff. So whatever goes on with Ultra 4 next year, I really hope to be back with it because, like, these guys are my family.
Right.
These guys, you guys know, like,
yeah.
they're your family members. And I felt like I just went through divorce and I can't talk to my parents anymore. Like,
Right.
like that's,
Yeah,
that's
no.
how I felt.
And we discussed this last night, kind of off camera, that this was just a speed bump for U4, and from here on out, you know, it's going to be positive results,
Right.
and it probably help grow the sport more, and it bring that camaraderie back. And I feel like it was a necessary thing to happen for the sport to grow a little more, and I feel like we're going to see good results from that.
Right, and like we were talking too last night too, like, you know, every race was growing last year. It was
Right.
it was a growing sport. It's a fun sport, and the more that it gets out there, the more people want to go race
Right.
it, right?
That's
So,
right.
and I mean, in King of the Hammers this year that's coming up, I mean, I leave in 9 days or something for it, so I'll be out there, and I'll hopefully get some more information of what's going to maybe happen with Ultra 4 next year. Like I said, I hope I'm back with it because it's my passion. I wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't a passion of mine.
Right.
And feel like everybody that I've met and has came into my life are my family members. So I think it'll be good. Everything's gonna be good. I mean, nothing negative. There's no negative whenever I was at Mid-America or anything with that. You know, it was all positive and growing. But you know, things happen. I don't know the reasoning behind everything, but things happen.
Well, we're going to send you to Hammers with a petition to bring back the backdoor shootout.
Oh, that would be awesome.
We're us East Coast guys are pretty sad.
Are you sure that there's already not one going? I mean,
well, we're going to start another one.
I think Facebook pretty much has got that petition going on. I know the shootout was so much fun. I have to be honest with you guys. Like the first couple years I went and worked Hammers, I would go to it, but I just decided to watch it from Hammertown after that because I would go out there and freeze and
I'm sure.
fight the crowd.
The last couple years, everybody liked backdoor. Backdoor was a short course, but it was what we do.
Yeah.
It reminded us of our hill climbs. And so we really loved that. Everybody remembers Bobby Tanner going out there in 18 seconds or whatever it was. And we missed that. Dave Cole, are you listening? Next year.
I'm sure he's heard everybody wants backdoor back.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Yeah.
But
we appreciate you coming on, talking to us for a few minutes. We'll let you go get ready for your day.
Awesome. Well, thank you for having me. It was awesome.
We'll be around.
Okay. I'll see you later.
Thank you guys.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.